the summary of what is now the fourth week of curfew in Quebec. Curfew meaning we could not leave our houses after 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 in the morning unless we were, quote, essential workers, unless we had a dog to walk, unless we had our papers to explain why we were leaving our house after 8 in the evening. The 4-week curfew was imposed after a lockdown in December, which shut down, and I'm quoting, non-essential businesses. I don't know what that means, but the government shut down non-essential businesses and left open only essential businesses like this pharmacy behind me. But even in the essential businesses that were left open, they could only sell essential items, which led to the absurd reality of actual aisles that were taped off because they were selling non-essential items in an essential store that was allowed to remain open. I'm at a pharmacy. Check this out. This is not a joke. Socks. Anybody who is asking, socks. Items not available for in-store purchase at this time. Pantyhose. Socks. Okay, this I might understand. This is the absurd reality that occurred after nearly 1 year of COVID response measures. For anybody who doesn't remember, a year ago, and I don't blame you, a year ago we were told to lock down for 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve so as not to overwhelm our healthcare facilities. 2 weeks turned into a month, turned into 2 months, turned into 3 months. It's turned into a year. 9 months into the response, after the summer respite where we were allowed to leave our houses and play in playgrounds and go to dog runs, because I remember the playgrounds were shut off, the dog runs were locked, because we were entering the second wave that the government had been warning us about since the beginning. We were told to enter into a social contract, pursuant to which we would willingly socially distance from our fellow human beings. I'm just going to get some respite in the alley here. We were told to socially distance from our fellow human beings. We were then told to shut down non-essential businesses, which occurred in December. We were then forced into curfew, a year, virtually a year into the government response. In that time, what did the government do? We don't know. But they found $13 million a month to spend on COVID advertising to raise awareness for a problem. $156 million a year, instead of contributing to a solution, just sensitizing us to the problem. Things we learned in this is that you can't walk a cat after curfew. You can't walk your husband after curfew. We've seen some lawsuits be filed. We haven't seen them get anywhere because, by and large, law is hurry up and wait. There was a lawsuit filed in Gatineau against the government to contest certain curfew measures. I don't believe it's actually been heard yet. There was a lawsuit filed by small business owners and individuals who claim to have had their rights violated by these measures. I don't believe that's been heard yet. What was heard, and there was a resolution on, was that because the government was actually telling the police to issue tickets and fines to homeless people who were not respecting curfew. Try to figure that one out. A court actually said these curfew measures don't apply to homeless people because it's unconstitutional in that it targets people who have no means to do anything different. Because they have no homes, you can't ticket them for not respecting curfew when they have no homes to go to. So those are the lawsuits. Then what ended up happening? Trudeau apparently, adhering to the pressure from the provinces, restricted international flights. This is a year, virtually a year into the COVID response. Restricted international flights. All international flights as of, I think it was supposed to be as of yesterday, or maybe even today, can only come in through Vancouver, Calgary, Montreal, Toronto. Anybody coming in has to take a test at the airport and wait in a government-approved hotel for up to 3 days, up to a cost of $2,000, pending the results of that test. If the results are negative, by these new Justin Trudeau issued regulations, they would have to go to their homes and quarantine nonetheless for 2 weeks. If they were to test positive, in the unlikely and unfortunate event that they would test positive, they would have to go to government-approved detention centers or quarantine facilities until Lord knows when. You're going to hear some news. Those are the developments. Now, I said this was not going to be a bad news update. I don't know if I said it. This is not a bad news update. In all that, in all the badness, I have some big news to announce. It involves an addition to my and our family. And no, my wife is not pregnant. What do you have to say for yourself? This is Winston. This is Winston the Westie. He is 11 weeks old. We adopted him yesterday. He apparently has a condition known as lentiglobus and I forget what the other one is. It's apparently an eye condition, lentiglobus and lenticonus. And apparently it's an eye condition wherein he will, by all accounts, go blind within 1 year. It may require the removal of his eyeballs if the pressure builds up in his eyes, but I'm not so nervous about that. He may go blind, and so they could not only not find someone to purchase him, they couldn't find anyone to take him. And we got the call, and this beautiful little beast is now a member of our family. He has not replaced Pudge. Pudge is still alive and well, and I'm going to go walk Pudge right now after I thaw out my hand. But this is the new addition to the family, Winston. His name has two significant meanings, one of which goes back to my childhood, and the other one goes back to George Orwell's 1984. There, I said it. This is Winston. In all of this, there is still beauty to be found, but there is still a voice to be heard. I want to put you down. And there is still some logic and reason to...
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. You can find the entire clip on YouTube.